is Jay Leno, and I'm here with my guys SSJ Namokazi and my cousin Derek Simmons Jr. What's up, fellas?
What's up? What's up?
What's up? Thank you for having me on. I love your channel, Jay Leno. I think it is amazing. And I appreciate all the work that you do and everything that you have done for us.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. We don't get a lot of compliments, man, so I don't know how to handle them, man. I appreciate you.
He's blushing.
So, guys, with this episode, well, you know what? What'd you guys think of the episode? We'll start off with you, SSJ.
Definitely mid. I'd say it's probably a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5. Okay. What about you, Cuz?
I'll give it a 7. 7 out of 10.
Give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I got, man. If we have like decimal places, I give it like a 5.5.
Ooh. Okay.
Go to 5.5. But okay, before I guess I go into detail and go into it, and it's exact. I got a couple of questions. So from this point up until episode 7, how do you guys feel, or what's you guys' opinions on this whole arc of Kingpin being a mayor? I guess I'll start with you, Thus. Like, you know.
Well, looking at the briefings and the potential ratings of the compromising circumstances of Wilson Fisk becoming mayor of New York City and having this anti-vigilante corps, I would say that I find it rather interesting. I find it rather amazing that somebody that started from the bottom and then works his way through a international criminal expertise all the way to mayor of New York. I believe that is a story of triumph. It's a story of rebellion. It's a story that if you are relentless enough, you can make any dream possible.
Plug.
I like it.
Like it. Nice. You go with it. Okay, he says he likes it. All right. What about you, SSJ?
I think it's okay. I think it's a change, but it's also cliche at the same time, because we've seen villains in comics decide they want to be political and run for mayor or run for president, like Lex Luthor and Loki, which it's interesting in Wilson Fisk's case here, but I feel like we don't get a lot of that political aspect because he's like, we're still wanting to get the other side of him trying to build up his Daredevil empire once more now that he's back in office, and he has like the political power to back it up and the assets, such as him using the vigilante task force. So in some ways it's interesting, but in other ways I kind of want to see him get out of that mayor office and do his own thing again.
Okay. I've got mixed feelings. I'm more leaning toward, if this was a pie chart, I don't have too much positive to get out of him. I do like that he's strategic. He's a bit more wise, not as impulsive. But for some reason I still would prefer to, like, I'm just used to seeing Kingpin being more bullheaded and more dominant. And I feel, with the combination between him and Vanessa together, I feel like he doesn't have that aura of a mayor that I was expecting from him. Like the leading up to like Daredevil Born Again, I don't know. I just thought that he'd be more conniving.
I wasn't expecting that because somebody, like, if you've known since season 1, like, he's somebody that's not going to change. Despite the fact that he did go political to run for mayor, because, like he said in Echo, he wanted to run for mayor because he loves his city, which he does love New York, but it's not the same way that Daredevil loves New York. He loves New York in a sense to where he wants to have control over New York and make it his under his palm, basically. So That's the
SSJ, I
main
do
reason
have
why.
pushback on that.
Well, hold on. Let SSJ get his stuff off real quick.
I just don't want to forget that topic of his love for New York and how he sees New York. That's
Oh,
all.
okay, yeah, because it's mentioned throughout any Daredevil media for the most part, and in Echo and in this Daredevil series, he says he loves New York, which again he does, but it's not in the same capacity that Daredevil loves it to where he cares and wants to save people. He loves New York, like based on the fact that he wants to control people and be in control, and the fact that he saw that opportunity coming up that he could run for mayor. That was his chance for it, and I thought that
Well,
that was at least interesting.
so in this episode, they were talking about that specifically, and they were saying that Daredevil, Wilson's like assistant. He said that it could be good for the city because he loves New York, and then Wilson Fisk laughed at that, and then he was saying how Daredevil ruined his enterprise, his criminal enterprise, and how Wilson hired people and made them millionaires, and how he was taking care of so many families underneath his criminal empire, and how Daredevil messed all of that up. And I think back in real life and what we're going through now and how America's actually structured. America is a criminalized country. White people came over here, killed Indians, established their own laws based upon what would benefit them so that they can have full control over it. Then once they realized that they didn't have the workload to really get this country going, they brought in slaves in order to manufacture that work and so they can be able to produce at a high level. And then once they free those slaves, they instill all of these, I don't know, I guess programs, if you want to call it, all of these things in place to hold them back. If they made a breakthrough, like a Black Wall Street, they'll blow it up, and they'll just do everything that they can to stay ahead of the course, right? And then they'll make it into law. They'll turn their crime into law and then brainwash people into thinking that this is right. But there is no right. We'll think of gangs in south side of Chicago. They're killing each other for territory, right? And then they'll look at that and be like, oh, see, the black man is out of whack. Black men don't know how to act. Actually, they're doing the exact same thing that white people did, just on a smaller level.
I got you. So are you? Well, go ahead. My fault.
So how Kingpin views the world is he view it as actually what it is. And to truly get ahead in life, you do have to make shortcuts. If you follow the rubric, you more than likely won't be successful. So you have to do this, and his way did end up making people millionaires. Versus Matt Murdock, he's more so a guy who's brainwashed in the system, who believes in the system, but he's just another pawn in the system, and he doesn't even realize it. So that he thinks that he's doing good, but he's only doing good in such a minute way. Like, okay, he saved that girl from that murderer. Yeah, he saved one life. But what Wilson Fisk is doing is he's doing so much on a larger scale, but to have an impact on a larger scale, you do have to have some evil involved because this country was found on evilness. It's kind of like we think back on what's going on with One World Under Doom right now. Doom has full control of the world, and he's actually making the world a better place right now because he actually sees the world for what it is, versus the Avengers. They kind of live in this fantasy mindset. And yeah, they'll save people here and there, but they're not really doing anything because they're underneath a failed system.
Okay.
Well,
I like
that's insightful, but at the end of the day, it is a superhero show. At the end of the day, superhero / comic product. So as far as what Kingpin / Wilson Fisk sees, he's always just going to see negative because he grew up with negative. His father was abusive and he ended up killing his father in childhood. So he always had to grow up and see things differently since he was 8 years old. So no matter what, he's never going to see anything as being good. Only thing that he saw good was Vanessa. because when he met Vanessa, she was the only person that could understand, air quotes, understand him because of them connecting with art, because he likes art and things like that. So
And,
as far as
and I think that goes into agreement with what I'm saying. Wilson Fisk sees the world for what it is, for what it truly is.
Mm-hmm. I got you. Go ahead, SSJ, as you were saying.
But yeah, Wilson Fisk and how he views things, though, it's always just going to be negative, though, no matter what, just because of his upbringing and how he was. And a lot of the things that he does were like really bad, illegal things. Like he's killed people and gotten people kidnapped, held people hostage, and many times he's even taken control of like the NYPD.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So he's just that powerful and has that many connections.
Okay. So, reflecting on this episode and some of the past seasons, do you guys think that Matt Murdock made the biggest mistake by revealing his identity to the Kingpin back in season 3?
Well, he never revealed his identity. Kingpin already deduced his identity and figured it out. I think it was in season.
I thought 3. He took his mask off in front of Fisk in season 3.
Yeah, but you don't remember in season 2 they had many conversations when Kingpin was in jail, and he figured out that he was the devil in Hell's Kitchen based on their conversation.
Okay.
He already knew that he was Daredevil. When he took off his mask for him in season 3, like he was doing that, like, hey, this is me, and you already know that I'm Daredevil, and you're gonna keep my secret and stay away from Foggy, Nelson, and Karen Page, and if not, I'm coming after Vanessa.
Oh, okay. It's been a while. It's been a while since I went back, so you definitely gave me a refresher to mine. Cuz how do you? What's your opinion on Daredevil? What I guess Fisk have it knowing Matt Murdock's identity as Daredevil.
It kind of goes what SSJ is talking about. Well, it kind of doesn't matter, right? Because Matt has still the Kingpin's number 2. So there does have to be a line of respect between both of them. But at the same time, the Kingpin did warn Daredevil, hey, resume your activities, and I'm coming after you. So Kingpin's going to retaliate. I don't know if him giving his task force the credit instead of Daredevil the credit is him retaliating, or if it's going to be much more than that. But I'm assuming that's what the next 2 episodes are going to be about. It's going to be Kingpin's retaliation.
See, that's where the budget cuts come in the reshoots, because the 3rd episode where White Tiger got shot by one of those vigilante task force guys, I think that scene was supposed to have shown him forming the vigilante task force either before or after, because for some reason we get that in episode 3, him getting killed off early, but then 2 episodes later we get the full reveal of him saying he's setting up the vigilante task force and recruiting people. So that's definitely some reshoots and them moving around some scenes here and there just to try to fit their narrative, which I'm noticing doesn't make sense.
And that's why me and you are in agreement with the series for the most part, because we see the kind of like laziness and them trying to cut corners to save money. Like, it could have been so much better, and you would think that with a company that has so much money, why not just go all the way with this? You know what I mean? It's just kind of frustrating.
Just go all out.
Right.
Because the Netflix show didn't have CGI. It was mostly practical effects, and it was like, fake blood and things like that. Nowadays in these movies, they use CGI blood. Like in Deadpool and Wolverine, it wasn't real blood, it was CGI blood.
And CGI blood is more expensive than the fake blood?
Yeah, which is crazy. So like a lot of the fight scenes, even though we didn't see like a lot of these up close, like realistic looking shots like that, they were able to make it work with what they had. And now that we have Disney actual Disney budget and money, like it seems like they're still too afraid to go all out with a character like Daredevil, like especially scenes like him running across the rooftop, which look kind of weird.
And it's funny that you say that too, because the Netflix series, you felt the violence a whole lot more, and it was with no special effects.
Yeah,
like the old school way is still kind of better. It's just more effort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the episode where he was beating up that fake cop and he broke that guy's leg. Like a lot of my friends were like, "Oh my goodness, what?" But I'm like, bro, did we not see the first season of the original show where that one dude after Matt beat him up, he like jams his eye into the it was like a pointed part of a fence that was sticking out. I was like, what the what? Like you feel the violence and your face starts cringing because of like how violent it is, and I like that, but I don't get that here in Born Again.
I just we're up to episode 7, and you know I've been patient for this build up, for this moment, and now right now I'm disappointed in this series up to 7 episodes. And for this to change my mind, these next 2 have to be filled with action. Like
he needs to be in his costume in both episodes.
Exactly.
Episode.
Like it has to be over the top at this moment. It's just honestly, I just didn't feel comfortable how Muse was killed. That's what's really throwing me off about episode 7. SSJ. I mean, what's your take on?
Yeah, we did get some MCU feminist agenda when Matt's girlfriend Heather Glenn shot Muse like 5 or 6 times.
What I say, Jeff?
Even though he shoved her against the wall, I thought she was knocked out for a while after that. Like even then, I thought she would have been like dazed or something. Nope, she picks up the gun and shoots him perfectly in the chest 5 or 6 times. You know. The same, good old MCU feminist agenda.
SSJ, you're the GOAT. You're the GOAT.
Yeah, because like I said, I tried to give this show the benefit of the doubt, but I can still find these little bits and pieces of things that I don't want to find in there. And I'm just like, okay, that's one. Another example is when Luca, that was the guy that was working under Kingpin, he didn't respect him, and he was just going over to Kingpin's wife saying, "Oh, the business was much better when we worked with you." It was like, bro, MCU again.
He was like,
So yeah, I thought it was definitely disrespectful that he was killed off by Heather Glenn. I know Daredevil doesn't kill like that, but if they wanted to kill him, I would have been okay with Daredevil just throwing him out the window like he did Bullseye. But you have him get killed off by Heather Glenn. Like, okay, guys, here's your female empowerment. She got attacked by her attacker, and she was able to kill him. And
they can't have a guy save a girl.
Daredevil can't save her.
No.
I don't know. I think honestly, I would have liked a more of a physical fight. I know she was bleeding out, and I guess she wouldn't have been able to survive that long. Died. But yeah, perhaps maybe if she died. Honestly, if Daredevil would have just killed this man in his cave, was that episode 5 or was it episode 6 when they were in the
episode 6?
If he would have just killed Muse in that cave and just gave us a better fight scene, I would accept that over how Muse died in this episode.
Yeah, and I would have accepted if they would have went the season 3 Daredevil route, where it's like which they kind of did, but then they just kind of dropped the ball on it. I thought they were going to go the route where Muse is basically a threat to both Kingpin and Daredevil, and they both end up having to go after him. But then Muse ends up getting pissed off at Kingpin for something and tries to kill him, like at a conference or something like that. But then Daredevil comes in to help him, but then he stays behind to help Daredevil defeat Muse. I thought they would have went something like that. That would have been better than what this
Well, they
is.
kind of did because you got to recall that Kingpin was going after Muse too. But
Yeah, they kind of did, but they killed him off. So.
yeah, well, Daredevil beat him too. He beat the task force to them, but originally the task force was supposed to be the first ones there. But yeah,
Yeah.
So I mean, so cuz like, what are you expecting for these next 2 episodes for this series?
well, it's like I said. So I said at the beginning, don't expect the Netflix series because the Netflix series just have freedoms that Disney just don't have because Disney does have to follow the big Hollywood agenda, which is the demasculization of men right now. Uh, People are complaining about the sneak peek of Superman of him looking all silly as he's getting beat up by Crypto,
I
and
love it.
that was an example of him being demasculized. And I'm not saying that that's the whole time. I'm not saying that the Superman film is going to be bad, but you have to, in order for you to have a movie in Hollywood, there has to be some sort of demasculization agenda, or your movie's not going to get passed through. It could be that they put in a lot of
Propaganda.
Yeah, it could be that there's a lot of LGBT in power. There's a lot of feminists that's in power right now. So you have to fulfill those scripts accordingly. So that's just going to be something that's accepted, and that's why my bar for Daredevil Born Again was already low. They exceeded my low expectations because this has been better than what I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be kind of unwatchable, just like everything else has been unwatchable on Disney Plus.
Okay.
But this has been serviceable. It's not perfect, but it's tolerable.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. And I always hear people, and it's usually stupid people too. I always hear people say things like, well, this is the best thing that Disney Marvel's ever put out, but that's not saying much though, because they put out garbage. So that's not saying much. So yes, this right here, this Daredevil show is better than everything else they put out, but that's not saying much because this show still has a ton of flaws. And we got filler in a 9-episode series, which is inexcusable.
Right. I can see if it's like you guys ever remember the show Supernatural?
Yeah.
So that season had filler episodes, but the season would be like 20 episodes.
It would be like 20-something episodes though. Same with like Arrow and Flash. They would have filler episodes sometimes too. I feel like if it's a limited series that's like 8 and 9.
Daredevil used to have a lot of episodes as well though on Netflix.
Yeah, they did, but you want to know something? Some of
and
those
hour long, I think.
were actually good filler.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Like the Karen episode was terrible, but they were better than whatever this, like Kamala Khan's dad. Come on, Khan.
Yeah,
Oh, you didn't mention it either. I'm surprised you didn't put a picture, but your girl, female White Tiger, came back again in the
she did
episode, and I don't know about you, but I think I'm tired of seeing her now. I think we're good with that.
Well, going back, you did say, I believe it was the last stream that we did, that you pretty much thought the arc of her would come to an end. But I mean, they had her down in the gurney. It didn't really have much of a purpose.
It felt shoehorned.
Yeah. So So this episode, I do feel like something had to be cut because I think this episode was supposed to be an opportunity for people to grow closer with Muse and understand him as a character more, which to me was it did feel rushed. So now the rumors is that Muse will make another appearance in the second season of this Born Again series. Perhaps maybe Daredevil Matt Murdock will be the leader of the future. The future of the any of the Avengers or these new cast of superheroes that are going to be in Hell's Kitchen. So they're going to keep him around.
I can't see him being no Avengers leader, but definitely Defenders though.
We okay, yeah. Well, I don't know I don't know the name of the faction of what would it be? White Tiger and like yeah, this the second phase of Hell's Kitchen that Daredevil
She's
would
part
be
of the
like
Young
mentor for.
Avengers.
Okay. So because okay, without me thinking of this, I was under the impression if they weren't thinking about the future, I was under the impression that perhaps Daredevil and all these cast of people will probably end up dying or not being around post Secret Wars. So I was anticipating like seeing a good like ending to like Daredevil itself.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's probably gonna be a rushed ending, and it's probably not gonna be a satisfying one either. We'll probably get left with a very unsatisfying cliffhanger that won't be explored until probably the second to third episode of the next season. That we'll probably forget about.
I agree because it's not enough time, right? 2 episodes left, and it's just not enough. So
Yeah.
it has to
The
go
only way they
that
can impress me
direction.
right now. The only way they can impress me right now, I need him to be in the full costume from the beginning to end of both next episodes. I gotta see Punisher come back in full costume, and hopefully he shoots some people up. Some of the vigilante task force would be great.
Bring in
Maybe,
Bullseye.
maybe yes, bring Bullseye back. Maybe Bullseye can kill off Heather Glenn, and then that'll really awaken Daredevil.
That sounds like a man writing it. Come on now, this is a female controlled
Well, I'm
show.
saying this is just maybe, but if like what I'm saying right here is way better than what they would actually do, though, because
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Heather
Like
Glenn being killed off
that's fantasy talk. That's
set
like
up
me
the black
saying
suit.
I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna get a big booty girl that looks like Beyonce or something like that. Like, nah, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
like good luck.
Well, okay,
yeah.
so 7 episodes in, they're really, I guess they're making an attempt to really show that Matt Murdock is just supposedly having this hard time with his best friend passing and wanting to put this suit on again. And I mean, not everybody's happy about it, but with them stretching this series, do you think they executed like his struggle of wanting to put the suit back on? Like, did you think they executed that at least?
They meander. At the very least, if he didn't want to wear the red Daredevil costume, he should have just gone around in the black suit beating people up. At the very least, and I know other people might try to disagree, but that's just who he is. If he really cares about Hell's Kitchen and loves his city like that, that's what he did in the original series before he was able to actually get his own suit. And I think he probably would have suited up sooner if his suit wasn't destroyed, because I think his suit got partially destroyed by Bullseye from their first fight. So there's probably that too. But
I thought it was a different suit. I thought he had a different suit on versus the first episode, or is that the same?
yeah, the first episode suit I think got damaged by Bullseye, and he's wearing a different suit when he fights Muse.
Because the black lining that wasn't in the episode 1 suit, right?
No, it wasn't.
Or am I wrong?
No, the black lining wasn't in episode 1. It was just all red.
Okay, yeah, so it is an entirely different suit then.
Yeah, because if you see the scene from episode 5, or no, episode 6, I believe, towards the end, you see like the little his lair or whatever, where he had the different suits and the different masks.
Right.
I'm not sure where he got the multiple different suits, because the person that makes his suit is in jail. If that's still canon.
And then he still has the yellow suit too from She-Hulk.
Well, the yellow suit looks a little bit different from She-Hulk, because it's more of like a gold color than the mustard yellow and red that we got in She-Hulk. So I don't know if it's an upgraded version of that same suit, or if it's just a completely different yellow suit.
Okay.
Could it be possible that another one of Matt Murdock's allies could die in the next 2 episodes.
It's wishful thinking because I don't care for Carrie.
That could trigger. I mean, that could trigger this brawl that we would like to have happen.
I'm not sure because I mean the only supporting characters we have right now are that Kirsten McDuffie, who's kind of annoying, and then Cherry. He's that bald guy that works for him, and he kind of was annoying in this episode. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he would care like that. Like, well, I don't think he would care like how he did with Foggy Nelson being killed. Because he knew Foggy Nelson since his college days. They both got they both passed their bar together.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so is it safe to say that Vanessa will survive this season of Daredevil?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see them killing off Vanessa. And I think somebody disagreed with me. They were like, well, if they killed off Foggy, you don't think they'll kill Vanessa? Nah, I don't think they will. Because
that might have been me. I think I was the one who said that.
Oh, okay. Well, one, Vanessa was a woman. And they also building her up to be the queen pin, basically. So I 1000% don't see them killing her off. She'll be in the next season. Probably, running the business better than Kingpin again.
Yeah, they have to use that for the feminist agenda. Absolutely. The one character that I do see them killing off is the black assistant that works at the office. I feel like it was a foreshadowing.
I don't see them killing her off. I think they might kill off Cherry before they kill off her.
Yeah, but it's like I've seen this kind of writing before when she went up to that black guy, was like, I trust both you and Matt, but you guys don't trust me. Like, I feel like that's going to be like them not trusting her is going to end up in her death in some sort of way. And then it's going to cause them both to regret them keeping that secret from her. Because if she would have known, then it would have kept her out of some sort of danger. I kind of seen that writing before, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't see it that way. I saw it more of like the CW's writing, where you remember how in The Flash, like Iris West is one of the worst characters on that show, and she said to Barry Allen, like, "You're not the Flash, we're the Flash." Like, it gave me that kind of similar writing. And believe it or not, I looked up the writer to one of these episodes of Daredevil. It is one of the female writers from the CW from The Flash. So that's kind of funny.
If they take it a step further, everybody becomes a superhero in this show.
Exactly. She'll be a superhero. And you know what? Another character that I don't like, that I thought was annoying, I'm surprised you don't have her picture up here too, Jay Leno. You remember that Asian police detective that hostages killed in episode
yeah, with
6.
with that amazing joke she told on the walkie-talkie.
Like, it's kind of unbelievable for her to be doing all these investigations by herself and like discovering where Muse's lair was and giving all this information to Wilson Fisk, yet she was also the negotiator as well. So like, I guess she's the everyman at the NYPD in this universe. Whatever happened to that black detective from the original series, I wonder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought she was kind of insufferable too.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they could do these action scenes. What could save this episode if they gave us some sort of like signal or Easter egg that could lead up.
Like, you know what, Swordsman, I don't know why they didn't have him just meet.
They could give us some Thunderbolt stuff or give us a hint towards the Void kind of taking over New York at the end of this episode. I don't know.
Nah, they're not going to do none of that. This TV stuff is only going to be strictly television stuff. You're not going to see movie stuff in this.
Okay.
That's why you never saw like the Avengers Tower or anything like this in this show, because this show is supposed to be just strictly just self-contained. you might see other characters be mentioned and pop up, like cringe Kamala Khan's father should have been someone else. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna show like Thunderbolt characters or any references to other movies like that, unless it's like a name drop or something or a mention.
I know some of the interviews he made references to MCU, but he wasn't very specific. But he kept stating MCU, the actor that is Daredevil. But I could be looking too far into it, but
Yeah, probably. This is what I would like to see though, which I doubt would ever happen. I would like to see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in the yellow suit teamed up with Daredevil, with Charlie Cox's Daredevil in the costume, but that'll probably never happen.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Forget about Deadpool and Wolverine. Give me Daredevil and Wolverine.
I mean, I'd be into that. I mean, that's definitely interesting. Well, guys, we covered Fist. We covered everybody. I'll be honest with you, they didn't really give me much to talk about for a discussion for this episode. That's why I really call this mid.
Well, I'm surprised you still didn't mention Luca being killed off by Wilson Fisk, man, because he was trying to work with Vanessa to plot against the Kingpin about that money from the bank heist episode that he went ahead and charged an extra $1 million or something like that. And of course, I mentioned earlier the feminist agenda MCU when he was talking to Vanessa, saying like, "Oh, well, the business wasn't as good when we were working with him. It's better when we're working with you. And I can't do this, and you don't believe this, right? Like, I think I should take him out or something like that." And I'm just like, I can't believe this. Like most men would be too afraid to say something negative about Wilson Fisk, and yet this is how he's treated.
I mean, the cool thing is he was continuing to eat his food. Like, he just knew what was up, and he was just like, "Tell Vanessa I'll be making it home tonight for dinner," or something like that. And so I thought that part was cool.
It was cool. We've seen something like that in the earlier series, but you know what we should have seen? We should have seen some blood. Where's the blood? The guy getting shot in the head and the blood being splattered. You don't see nothing. You just see a gunshot pop, and then he's eating his food. That's it. You remember how when the show advertised, like,
it's Disney.
Yeah, but I know. But you remember how the show advertised like this is the most violent, bone crushing, thrilling. Like, we barely got any bone crushing. It's not that violent. As a matter of
violent
fact,
compared to everything
might
else.
be a little bit more violent than this show, and that show is terrible. And I'm not even lying. Echo might have more violence. Like, you see a guy getting stabbed in the stomach, and then somebody takes the knife and brings it up to his gut, and then the blood is coming out. Like, Echo might be more violent than this show.
I didn't know that Echo was mature. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was MA.
Oh, okay.
Well.
I thought Daredevil was the first one. Was going to be the first one. Oh, okay. Well,
no, believe it or not, Echo was actually the first one.
So far this season, I saw 2 mid, if not low grade deaths. White Tiger's death was was just whack as hell. Like, he didn't have his amulet on, and like he just died to a gunshot. Disappointing. Muse went out to a simple gunshot instead of by the hands of Daredevil, which is what we wanted to see. And
go ahead, say it, Jay Leno. Why did he go down? Cousin knows what I'm talking about, but why did he go down?
I mean, just to have this woman that was bleeding out halfway should have been like unconscious, had enough strength to pull the trigger 6 times.
The agenda is strong with that one.
But I mean, we got to see Daredevil put up like some really good attorney work. When Daredevil finally put the suit on, the fight scene was really short. You said what? SSJ?
Oh, my bad. I was just saying, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like his fight levels are sometimes inconsistent in this show. Like for example, the first episode, he destroyed Bull. Like he took damage, but he for the most part destroyed Bullseye. But then you go over to the episode where he's fighting against it, defeats those guys with relative ease, right? Then we get to the next episode. He's fighting against the guys in the bank. He kind of struggles a little bit, but then eventually defeats them. But then we get to him fighting Muse for the first time. Like he defeats Muse, but then he's taking some hits here and there. Like I feel like he wasn't taking that fight as serious. But then he actually starts to do a better job the second time he fights Muse. Have y'all noticed the inconsistency, or is it just me?
Well, I'll say sadly that it's an extreme amount of lack of fights in the series as a whole.
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
Well, especially when you compare it to the
short
original
fight
Netflix
scenes at that.
series. Like, you guys remember season 1 of Netflix Daredevil? Like, it seemed
Yeah.
like we had like 20-minute fights.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like this is like, let's not make the fight seem more than 2 seconds. If it's longer than 2 seconds,
like-
then the women are going to be offended. And it's
This
like,
is like this
Yeah,
is like
they're very
fat
short.
Steven Seagal level fight scenes. I mean, like he's mostly moves, but if you guys, if you guys, I mean, you guys are younger than me, but like with
Steven
Steven
Seagal, yeah, his movies
just
are
taking
horrible.
dudes out like in 2 seconds, like bam, 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 people being down. I'm just like, you know, I don't know. I just, like I said, what'll save this series is if we get the action that we want in these next 2 episodes.
it's just surprising how you have a show that already has the formula of how it was successful. And you take out the one thing that people love the most, and you just leave the characters. Like it's like they're so ridiculous.
Well, that's mainly because of the reshoots, and now that you know, they did the reshoots, you can tell, like, now that we're kind of past some of these kind of garbage episodes and we're kind of getting into more focused episodes, it's more so of like an imitation of the original Netflix series. It's not even, they're not even trying to be like the Netflix series. It's like a cheap imitation almost.
And they think that that's better.
They think that
They
more
think-
separate. Honestly,
Well,
this
people are
made me go
not.
back to
They-
watch the original series. I'm on season 2, and season 2 is better than this.
I'm sure.
I've had people try to argue with me and say like season 2 and 3 were terrible. This show is better. I'm like, bro, y'all smoking crack. This show is better. Season 2 and 3 of the original are way better than this Disney Plus Daredevil Born Again.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, fellas. Till next time, this has to be like the wackest episode to me. I ain't gonna lie.
I think it's the realization of. I think we came to the realization because we were hoping that we were going to get what we got over in Netflix, but it was just the final nail in the coffin to let you know, nah.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
That they don't give up.
Which is kind of sad because it's like it's kind of like an ex-girlfriend that came back and like you think that she's gonna like start acting right, but she doesn't. She just the same problems that still occur. And it's just kind of like I thought you was gonna be better this time around, but nah. All right.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get the version of you that we had when we started dating the first 3 months.
The thrill is gone. Thrill is
Yeah.
gone.
Mm-hmm. And they ain't never coming back, you know. So that's why it's just like when we have something good, guys, it's like really just cherish it because good things don't last forever. And once people see the success of things, they're going to try to take advantage of it and try to make it to their own. Because, like I said, nobody really cared about the superhero stuff before Avengers came out. Once people saw Avengers and they saw how success it was and how much money it made, that's when the feminists start coming in. They wanted. I started seeing black women talking about, oh, they always was in the comic book shops and that they always were into superheroes. No, you guys weren't.
No, you weren't.
No, I'd never seen you guys in the comic book shop when I was growing up. Never.
When y'all go into comic book shops, what does it usually smell like?
Old white dudes.
Exactly. It doesn't smell feminine in there. You don't see females in there. It only
I
smells like
mean,
old white dudes or
it
sweat or
it has a it has a regular smell. I mean, mine fortunately has air fresheners, but until it depends on who comes in there. What my comic book smells like. But yeah.
I'm just saying, like, especially when we were coming up, we didn't see no women in no
I didn't
comic
see
book
no
stores.
black women going into comic book stores like that at all.
Right. So it's just like that's what I'm saying. Like nobody, these outsiders that have full control over the superheroes now, they didn't care before Avengers. So then they come in and they freak everything up. See that, cuss? I caught myself.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. I like it.
They freaked everything up, man, and it hasn't been the same since, And we had some freedom over there in Netflix. They got jealous of that. They got jealous of that, and then it was like, oh, why does these men they like this Netflix and this Daredevil and this Punisher stuff? Oh, it's a little too violent. Oh, we gonna get the control over this. Yeah, they think they gonna have fun. Oh, watch, we're gonna make our own version. This is what's happening.
And
They
people
try
don't
to
realize that those Netflix shows were made by Netflix. Disney had nothing to do with them. It was all Netflix. All it was a licensing deal where ABC and Netflix were like, okay, well, we have these characters from Disney, but we're going to go ahead and license them to you guys on Netflix because we don't really need them right now. And that's
and
what
they
it
got
is. Netflix.
and what happened when it became successful? That's when Disney started caring.
That's when they
That
canceled.
was, that
They
was
started
jealousy.
caring. They canceled it. They were like, "Oh, dang, we got to get this property back," and that's when they got them
Right.
back on Disney Plus a couple of years later. They
Exactly.
wanted to put them on their own little streaming service because Netflix had their streaming service and made that good. It's just money.
It's money, but it's also jealousy. It's also
Money and
jealousy.
jealousy.
Yeah, because it's like you guys ever had a girl and like she sees you playing video games and she sees you enjoying yourself and she gets kind of mad because it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like she just get kind of mad if you just enjoying yourself. That's what the people over at Disney was like when they were watching us enjoy the Netflix series. They were like, why did they get something that they want? Why? Like, no, we're gonna take this away and we're gonna make it our own. Enjoy this crap.
And then they force us to like their other crap characters that no one cares about, like Kamala Khan and Kate Bishop.
I mean, at this point, yeah, there'll be the Netflix people. I don't think they're gonna draw in any new people to Daredevil, and they didn't even want to deliver what was in demand. And so how optimistic are you guys? Give me a rating 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, highly favored of them ending this series gracefully. I'll start with you, SSJ.
I'll say probably a 4.
4 out of 10. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, based on what I'm seeing, probably a 4. They'll probably do something where it ends with Daredevil probably not winning the suit up again, which that'll be the 3rd or 4th time we've seen. Or it'll probably end with him, retiring from being a superhero, and then probably someone like Elektra taking over and being Daredevil, like in the comics. Which that's not what I want. That's probably what they'll do.
It could easily happen. Like,
that was the most lamest outcome possible. But what made it funny was because that could actually happen.
It can actually happen. They have a whole arc in comic books of Elektra taking over.
Elektra taking over.
It's running right now.
I know, but this is supposed to be Daredevil born again. He just came back as Daredevil. We haven't seen him.
Daredevil.
We haven't seen him be Daredevil in years, and then they'll just replace him like that, like boom, like talk about a bait and switch. That'll be the biggest bait and switch
like that, and they replaced the white. Well, the White Tiger will get replaced too, but yeah.
If they did that, SSJ, if they do that, I will cancel my Disney subscription and I will never subscribe ever again.
Well, listen, I use my ex-girlfriend's Disney Plus account since she lives close by, so I just use her Disney Plus account. I'm not giving Disney no money for this. And that terrible Captain America movie y'all liked, I saw that bootleg. And if my insiders are correct about this Fantastic Four movie coming up, me and my brother gonna probably have to see that bootleg too.
Fantastic Four looks good. Looks way more exciting than Cap.
I hope so.
Well, I understand that's the
Can't
thing
do
I
this
wanted to
either.
invest. I understand. I totally get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and with Deadpool and Wolverine, I think I kind of was part of the problem going to see that movie in theaters a bunch of times, because now Disney thinks, well, oh, people like movies like that where it's just like where it's cameo heavy and not a lot of things going on. People will just eat it up because you have a lot of nostalgia in it. That's what is going to get butts in seats, and that's kind of what I talked about in my last video with the Avengers Doomsday, them announcing all that
You
same thing.
you and I are perfectly aligned, because I don't think that you was on the stream when we were talking about Deadpool and Wolverine at the time. And I said what you just said. I said that they made this movie good because you got Hugh Jackman and you got Ryan Reynolds, guys that they want to see, and then you just brought back all the characters. Like, but when you look at the actual story, that the story is a little bit on the lazier side.
Yeah.
And so when you get success like that, you're not gonna try to do a good story no more. You're gonna do very little effort, because all you gotta be like, well, I just gotta bring in Robert Downey Jr. back, or I just gotta bring back Chris Evans, or I just gotta have 3 Spider-Men. Like, it just makes everything so lazy, and that's what it is. Lazy. That's why I said, like, that Punisher episode, lazy. You just gonna have him come out of a closet, fucking lazy. Oh, see, I'm sorry, cuz. See.
Yeah, I didn't like the Punisher. Did him better too. I definitely agree. Because looking back on that episode, because on the stream, I believe I was like, oh, well, we'll see. They might do some more with him. They ain't gonna do much with him. I think,
he's gonna get that one shot episode, and that'll be it. It just let us know that he exists, and they're gonna use him for something.
Yeah.
Hopefully Punisher is not in that same contract where he's only in a TV show and not in a movie.
They gotta fix that. Like, I want to see if this is really supposed to be the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like they so proclaimed since the beginning. I want to see characters cross over from TV show to movie to even the animation shows.
That's too much effort.
Well,
that'd be too awesome.
We know that has to happen. With the West Coast Avengers, and we know Kamala Khan will be in Secret Wars, and we're going to see her again in the MCU.
West Coast Avengers, though, because I don't. They should just ignore them, move past them, and just.
I don't like Wonder Man, but I'll take something like that. I don't mind it. I'll give it a shot, and if they ruin it, I'm definitely going to be here.
They're gonna.
They're definitely going to get these words.
Because it's a race swap.
Yeah, I mean,
every bad idea, everything that you don't want to see, that's what they're going to do. So just ask yourself, what would be awesome for them to do? And then just think the opposite.
I'll say I'm excited for West Coast Avengers for the possibility of seeing White Vision.
We could see White Vision somewhere else. Honestly, I don't think we need the West Avengers for that.
I mean, that's a perfect place for him, though, since they're not going to do a movie or series. Just throw him in there.
At this point, they should just ignore a Vision too if they're not going to do nothing with him. Because if we have to watch something that's not that good or very garbage and mid, like the West Coast Avengers, because it's not that great in the comics either, then I'm good. Like, you're wasting all this time and effort and energy on this property when you could have given us something much better. And even if you didn't want to focus on White Vision, you could still do a series where he's with somebody else. He doesn't have to be the main focus if Paul Bettany's too expensive.
Yeah, I agree. Anything else y'all want to include before I end this?
Golden State Warriors are beating Denver right now. They're for real, man. The title number 5. Here we go.
Disney can switch the story whenever they want, because I've talked with people on last streams where they're like, well, they can't switch the movie, they can't switch the plot. You have to get like this story and this story just to get to this story. No, you don't, because they can backtrack and switch it anytime they want to, just like they did with Kang the Conqueror. They switched it from Kang the Conqueror to Doctor Doom, and people are still eating it up, and the story is not cohesive in any way. We still don't really know who the big bad is at this point until Fantastic Four. So, yeah, Disney, Marvel, do better.
Well, all right, fellas. I appreciate y'all jumping in. Yeah. If anybody else that's watching this, leave us with a like and a comment. Let us know what you guys thought of this episode. I'm Jay Leno, and I'm out.
Peace.